Caitlin Clark's influence on WNBA viewership has sparked a heated exchange between ESPN analyst Stephen A. Smith and WNBA legend Sue Bird. The debate centers around the league's viewing figures following Clark's stellar rookie season. Clark, drafted as the #1 pick for the 2024 campaign, enjoyed a remarkable first season in the WNBA. Her impressive performances earned her the Rookie of the Year award, securing an astonishing 66 out of 67 votes.
And the Big Ten all-time assist record is hers and hers alone!
Caitlin Clark, behind the back, on the spin, to the hole, and one!
They're right here, just staying on balance, taking the contact, getting the and one.
However, since Clark's Indiana Fever was eliminated from the playoffs after a loss to Connecticut Sun, concerns have arisen about WNBA broadcast viewership. Smith previously hinted at these concerns, prompting criticism from Bird. In response to Bird's comments, Smith fired back during Saturday's episode of The Stephen A. Smith Show. Let's see what Smith said.
And to be quite honest with you, I'm disgusted. I'm disgusted with Sue Bird, okay? Sue Bird, Hall of Fame caliber, Sue Bird, WNBA, college basketball. Matter of fact, one of the best people that I've ever met, or one of the best women I've ever met in professional or collegiate sports. I love her. But I didn't appreciate this article that I read, okay, when it came to her talking about yours truly. Because you see,
I understand his frustration. He's always honest, even when it's about someone like Sue Bird. Smith continued, defending his position.
Talking about the story is the story, Sue Bird. What was Stephen A. Smith and Shannon guilty of exactly? You know, everybody, Jon Stewart, who I love, by the way, calling Monica McNutt on his show. You know, she rolling out there like they just made a big time movie and she's a guest rolling up on late night television. Why? Because we got in an argument about the WNBA.
Smith is just speaking his mind, and it's hard to see what he did wrong in the WNBA debate. Let's see what Bird said.
Clark are astronomical. She is a big draw.
Yeah.
She brings in all the things. We know this. We've said this. And yes, the games where she's not playing have lower viewership. But in the WNBA playoffs, and we'll use the semifinals as the example, the WNBA playoff semifinal games where Caitlin obviously is not in it because her team lost are still breaking records from previous WNBA years, are still cracking 1 million viewers. I believe the record was at like 930,000 overall viewership, but it got up to like it peaked at like 1 point something.
So Bird's point about growing viewership might be correct, but some fans believe there's still room for improvement in the WNBA. The former WNBA star went on to criticize ESPN broadcasting duo Smith and Shannon Sharp for their comments on the matter.
Oh, really high, and they're still really meaningful, and they still show and tell a story of the viewership that is being gained in the WNBA. And yet some people continue to flip that. Those people, I've seen Stephen A. Smith talk about it. I've seen Shannon Sharp talk about it. And that's what I just don't understand is they work for ESPN. So why are you hating on a product? What are we calling a product, a platform? What's it called?
Product. Yeah.
A product
This
that,
is a product
that ESPN.
that they invest in.
Yeah, that's where these viewership
It's your
numbers are coming.
product.
Yeah, it's a business you're in. It's not that they can't. And by the way, it's not that they can't be critical of certain things. They can have their opinions. But that's where I don't understand the framing of that. That's where it loses me.
900 and something thousand people got on their devices and watched the game.
Yeah, and
that's
we haven't even gotten into
people.
like the NFL Sunday of it all.
Smith, in his rebuttal, argued that he was simply doing his job as a journalist by pointing out the decline in WNBA viewership since Clark's season ended in late September. He maintained that the increase in viewership during subsequent rounds was also a result of Clark bringing in new fans, some of whom have continued to watch. The 56-year-old ESPN analyst couldn't understand why some WNBA superstars wanted to diminish Clark's impact. He drew a parallel to the NBA, recalling how Larry Bird and Magic Johnson acknowledged Michael Jordan's contributions in elevating the league, despite him replacing them as its face during the late 1980s.
Magic Johnson did great things for the NBA. Larry Bird did great things for the NBA. But when that brother Michael Jordan came along, they stood down. Not on the basketball court competing against him, But nobody complained about the shine he received. One reason was because they knew he deserved it. You know what the other reason was?
Smith urged WNBA greats to follow suit.
It built the profile of the NBA and made the ratings blow up and took it off a tape delay and put it on primetime television and ultimately assisted in it becoming an international globalized brand. That's what happened. That's what happened. And if the ladies, meaning all of you collectively, grasp that concept fully, devoid of resentment, you too shall reap the benefits of somebody like Caitlin Clark coming along and anybody with a similar impact who follows.
Arguing, Smith expressed his annoyance at Bird questioning his journalistic integrity. He maintained that he has tried his best to cover the Caitlin Clark story in the most objective way possible, viewing Bird's criticism as unnecessary. The debate has highlighted the ongoing discussion about the WNBA's growth and the impact of star players on its viewership. While Clark's influence is undeniable, the league's overall growth and the contributions of other players remain points of contention. As the WNBA continues to evolve and attract new audiences, the conversation surrounding its viewership and the role of individual stars is likely to persist. The clash between Smith and Bird underscores the passion and varying perspectives within the basketball community regarding the league's trajectory and the recognition of its talent pool. With Minnesota Lynx leading 1-0 in their WNBA final series against New York Liberty, the focus remains on the court as the league seeks to capitalize on its growing popularity and the star power of players like Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin, congratulations on being Rookie of the Year for the WNBA. What an amazing accomplishment. Who would have thought that all those years ago back in Des Moines, Iowa, that this would be the case right now? We knew what we had in Caitlin back in Iowa City, and we knew the attention that she was bringing around the Big Ten and collegiate basketball. But I didn't know how that was going to transcend into the WNBA. And obviously we can see that it's done pretty darn well, and people are excited to see her play at every level. You've worked for it. You deserve it. It's an incredible honor, and we are so proud of you always. Go Hawks.
That's so cute. Thanks, Coach. You're the best. So cute.
Caitlin Clark was amazed and thankful when Coach Lisa Bluter praised her for winning Rookie of the Year, acknowledging her hard work and talent. Clark also received special praise from Cheryl Swoops after being named WNBA Rookie of the Year, getting 66 out of 67 votes. A near-unanimous victory came for the Indiana Fever star after gripping the nation in her first professional season, though not everyone was expecting her immediate success out of the University of Iowa.
I think what Caitlin has done for not just college basketball, but for women's basketball, period, I think has been great. The following, people watching the game, sellouts that we haven't seen ever. It just really bothers me, though, when people just take bits and pieces of what they want to take, and they don't listen to everything, and you don't hear everything. It wasn't personal. One, it was my opinion on how I think she'll be at the next level, because I do remember me saying that Caitlin, to me, could be the best college shooter I've ever seen. When you put these expectations on these young women in college to go to the next level and be immediately dominant, and when that doesn't happen, then people come back and say, oh, she was a bust, she was a flop, she wasn't that good. Just let them do what they're doing in college, enjoy what they're doing in college, and let them become stars in the WNBA.
Swoops, a four-time WNBA champion and three-time MVP, first raised eyebrows regarding Clark in March when she claimed that the Iowa native's NCAA D1 scoring record wasn't legitimate because she was a 25-year-old player in her fifth year. The 53-year-old was speaking in hyperbole. Clark was 22 and in her fourth year at Iowa. But Swoops was unimpressed because the budding superstar was taking about 40 shots a game. In August, Swoops did not even mention Clark when gushing over the Fever's strong post-Olympics form. I think the Olympic break really helped Indiana, she said on the Queens of the Court podcast. I'm going to shout out to Lexi Hull. I'm a big Lexi Hull fan. Lexi Hull shot the leather off the ball in their game against Seattle. Kelsey Mitchell is just stroking. She's just shooting the basketball. Aaliyah Boston, almost a triple-double. If Indiana continues to play the way they're playing, like this, they too are going to move up in the standings. That was despite Clark going on average 19.2 points, 8.4 rebounds, 5.7 assists, and 1.3 steals while shooting 41.7% for the field for the season on her way to being crowned the league's top rookie. And it appears that despite bouncing out of the playoffs in the first round to the Connecticut Sun, Clark has managed to win over Swoops with a rare piece of praise. I just thought what Caitlin was able to do coming into the league this season, she was just crazy, Swoops admitted. Just shooting the basketball, her ability to put the ball where it needs to be when it needed to be there.
I think Angel will eventually be a good pro. I don't think Angel will come into the league immediately and dominate the way people think she will. And I say that for people who have never watched a WNBA game. It's good. Like there's talent. Like these women can play. And because there are very few roster spots. Like it's a real job. So people look at new players coming in, whether that's out of college, players who've been overseas, and they look at that and say, oh, you trying to come take my job. Like, nah, it's not going to be that easy. So will Caitlin Clark be a good pro? Absolutely. Will Caitlin Clark come into the WNBA and do what she's doing right now? Immediately? Absolutely not. Not going to happen.
Okay. Not on the right team?
Just last month, Swoops played down the suggestion that Clark had been dominating the league, but has now gone back on those words and her previous criticism, aligning herself with Rookie of the Year voters. Let's see what Dan Dockich said.
The women of the WNBA, I mean, they're driving me bat blank crazy because, well, they won't shut up. It's like drama after drama, and I guess it's smart. I don't know. The latest, Cheryl Swoops, who seems to be the village idiot, and keeps talking and talking, and I didn't even know Cheryl Swoops still existed until, she started talking negatively about Caitlin Clark. Well, she says nobody on the Fever want to play with Caitlin Clark. Yeah, I got 2 words for you. My ass.
Dan is right. Swoops had a serious problem with Clark.
One thing about women, they will sever a relationship quick. But the fact that the relationship was severed because there was a difference in opinion, that's unfortunate.
I have a lot of stuff, so I might mispronounce someone. I'm trying to correct it.
Right.
If somebody tries to correct me and I sever a relationship or I'm no longer on speaking terms, we never had a friendship to begin with.
Right.
Caitlin Clark is a polarizing figure. People gravitate towards her. It's okay. Caitlin Clark's success doesn't diminish what Cheryl Swoops accomplished. Caitlin Clark's arrival doesn't diminish anything that they've done. I don't get this old guard. People wasn't phonetic. It wasn't buzzing. The WNBA, and people didn't talk about it like they do. Instead of being upset about it, I'm a ride the wave.
Right.
Look, I love Cheryl Swoops, but I don't think Nancy said anything that's wrong. Cheryl, you just got your facts are off.
However, it may be some time before supporters get to see Clark back out on the court.
Clark and the Fever currently lead the WNBA in average game attendance and per game TV viewership. But despite the attendance and viewership records, there seems to be some haterade in the league in regards to Clark starting with WNBA legend Cheryl Swoops herself.
After years of nonstop basketball, Clark is taking some time away from the sport during the offseason. There had been hope that she would join the likes of Angel Reese and compete in the 3-on-3 unrivaled league co-founded by WNBA stars Breanna Stewart and Nafisa Colliers. But instead, Clark is taking a break and playing golf in her downtime.
Saying to yourself, damn, what is going on here?
This is bad. This is very, very bad.
Caitlin Clark is clearly a catalyst for a business that was, and let's be honest, Caitlin to some degree financially saved the WNBA. It was hemorrhaging money for years.
It's actually to drive revenue so we can give the players extra income opportunities. I had to actually educate the players. They're like, good, 75 million divided by 100.
Caitlin Clark's arrival in the WNBA has been nothing short of spectacular. The former Iowa star has transformed the league, bringing in new fans and boosting ratings. But with her early exit from the playoffs, questions are starting to emerge about the league's future.
On the court. Because at the end of the day, with her WNBA rookie season complete, let's see it. Most points by a point guard in a season in WNBA history. Most double-doubles by a rookie guard in WNBA history. Most points by a rookie in WNBA history. Most assists by a rookie in the history of the WNBA.
When Clark joined the Indiana Fever, things changed fast. The team went from having the lowest attendance to the highest, with an average of 17,000 fans per game. That's a huge jump from just 4,200 the year before. Other teams even had to move their games against the Fever to bigger arenas to fit all the fans.
Straight game for the Fever with 40 or more points in the paint. That would be basket 44. Courtesy of Caitlin Clark's 13th assist, just reading the defense so well.
Howard blocked by ball. TV ratings shot up too. Clark's first WNBA game was the most watched in 23 years, with 2.2 million viewers. Overall, WNBA games on ESPN saw a 170% increase in viewers compared to last season. This led to a massive new TV deal worth $2.2 billion.
You have to scale, and ultimately expansion had always been on my list, but we didn't want to rush into it because we wanted new owners, like new ownership groups. Anyone who knows sports here knows, like, it's a slog to be a sports.
But here's where things get tricky. When Clark and the Fever were knocked out of the playoffs early, the WNBA felt it hard. Attendance at later playoff games dropped a lot. TV ratings for games without Clark fell by over 60%, from 2.5 million viewers to just 929,000.
She struggled with physical defense she's faced at the professional level and voiced frustration with the league's officiating, recently telling reporters, quote, "I feel like I'm getting hammered and everybody is physical with me, and opponents get away with things that other people don't get away with." That's what Caitlin Clark said.